Hallelujah. He's so amazing. The Bible says in Lamentations 3:21 that.
Yes, good morning, Mechanicsville. How you doing this morning? Yeah, this is Don Curtis, and I tell you, this is another day that the Lord has made for you and for me to rejoice in, to be exceedingly glad in. And we just give God thanks and praise for another fantabulous day. Yes, it's a marvelous day. It's an amazing day. It's a wonderful day. It's a day that's so wonderful because you are alive, and I'm alive as well. And I tell you, Jesus Christ himself, he is the author and the finisher of our faith. So let's give him praise and glory and honor this morning. Yeah, give God thanks again for waking you up. Give God thanks again for your next door neighbor, for your community, for your neighborhood. Good morning, Mechanicsville.
Steadfast and true is your love toward us, daily renewed is your mercy shown us, God of all.
Yes, good morning, Tennessee. Good morning to you. Missouri, good morning to you. Arizona, good morning to you. Wagon Barrow, England, good morning to you. London, England, good morning to you. Listeners in Alexandria, Virginia, good morning to you. Yes, good morning to you. Ashburn, Virginia, good morning. Indianapolis, Indiana, good morning to you. San Jose, California. Redmond, Washington. Yes, good morning to you. Gainesville, Maryland. Centerville, Maryland. Flagler Beach, Florida, good morning to you. Waldorf, Maryland. Plato, Maryland. Lexington Park. Upper Marlboro, Maryland, good morning to you. Christchurch, good morning to you.
Yes, it's sufficient. And this truth leads us straight to freedom. Amazing.
Yes, it's an amazing day today.
Come on, let's declare it together. Amazing. Hallelujah. Everybody sing steadfast. Is your love toward us. Daily renewed. Hallelujah. He's the God of all gods. He's truly amazing. Make no doubt about it. He's amazing. Come on. Hallelujah. Oh, your love is an everlasting love. Your grace is sufficient for us. Your truth leads us to freedom. Situation. I dare you to declare it as an offering to him. I dare you to lift it up to him in the name of the Lord. I can hardly wait till that day when I see your face. Oh, I'm sure I'll say, I can only imagine what I'll say. Yeah, that's the God we serve. I tell you today he is amazing. Hallelujah. Anybody know who he is tonight?
Yes, good morning to those that listen to us in South Africa. Good morning to you. Those that listen to us in Canada as well, in Australia, Nigeria. Good morning to you. Yes, Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, not Tobago, but Tobago. Good morning to you.
My God is amazing. He's strong and mighty. He's faithful and true. Amazing.
Those that listen to us in Romania and France this morning, and Brazil, good morning to you as well.
Hallelujah. He's amazing. He's amazing. Amazing. That's the God we serve. I love him so much. I love him so much. Amazing. Hallelujah. Celebrate him where you are. He's amazing. Hallelujah, Jesus.
Yes, you can celebrate him wherever you are this morning. Yes, you can. Yes, he's amazing. He's amazing. And guess what? You are amazing as well. God has fearfully and wonderfully made you. Yes, he has. Yes. And we're just talking about your physical body. Haven't even really begun to talk about your spirit and your soul. In fact, Jesus said, what would you give in exchange for your soul? Yes, he said you can be so busy working and laboring and whatnot, trying to amass all the riches of this world, and in the process lose your soul. And he says, what did that profit you at all? And so I tell you, I'm just grateful and thankful that just thinking about that, and not only just thinking about it, but actually embracing that and say, you know something, there is a part of me that Jesus says is worth more than the whole wide world. And I don't want to lose that in the midst of my busyness, in the midst of trying to collect stuff, even in the process of trying to become filthy or rich or whatever. Yeah, wealthy, but just to begin to realize, you know something, wait a minute. I'm already wealthy. I have stuff that money can't buy. I have stuff that millionaires can't purchase, billionaires can't purchase. I have the gift of God that has been freely given to me, and I just give God thanks and praise for that. And guess what? Yes, I'm just so amazed this morning. That is another fresh day. It's another beautiful day outside. A little chilly out. In fact, it's cold out, but that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I tell you, I just give God thanks. I'm grateful and thankful today, and I hope you are as well. Yeah, I feel like shouting a little bit because the Lord has been good to me, and I'm grateful and thankful. Yes, I am. Yes, I'm thankful for the physical body that I'm living in. I'm grateful and thankful for my soul. I'm particularly just amazed about my spirit that has been brought alive, united together with him, one spirit with him. And I'm just blown away by the truth that I'm born of his spirit, that he's my daddy, he's my father. Yes, I'm just amazed. I was getting ready to say shocked. That's a good word too. Yes. And I tell you, I'm just excited about today because it's a brand new day. It's 24 hours in today, and I don't know what today is going to bring to me except one thing. I do know this, victory, because I'm understanding and knowing and believing that God causes me to always triumph in Christ. What about you? Are you at that place in your trust in God and your belief in him? You're convinced and fully persuaded that he works all things together for your good. And so therefore, it doesn't make any difference what might be happening to you today, whatever you might face today, that somehow or another in the midst of God's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that he has ways of working all these things together for your good. And that somehow or another, he causes you to always triumph in Christ. And now our challenge is to get our minds in line with what he has declared to be true about us. Get our feelings, our emotions in check and in line with the truth about what has been declared to be true about you and about me. That you're so precious in God's sight. You're so valuable to him. You're so dear to him. In fact, he loves you so much that he gave up his only begotten son, Jesus Christ is his name. Yes, so that you and I might have life and have it more abundantly, so that you and I might understand and realize that even in the midst of a murderous crowd, a blaspheming crowd that hated Jesus to the point of wanting to kill him, that in the midst of all that, God would take all that hatred, all that anger, all that murderous spirit, and turn it into your good and my good. And Jesus knew that. He knew what his Father was up to. He knew what his Father was able to do. And he had this one-on-one relationship with his Father that he began to know and to understand. In fact, he taught this, that the Son can do nothing in him of himself. He was so dependent upon his Father that even life itself was in the hands of his dad, in the hands of his Father. And he told Pontius Pilate that he would have no authority over him whatsoever if it were not given to him of his Father. He knew that his dad ruled and reigned in all of the situation and circumstances of his life. He knew that his whole life was wrapped up and tied up. It was in God himself, his daddy, his Father. And guess what? The same is true concerning you and concerning me. Yes, yes. And I tell you what a marvel to know that you might not know when your last day is going to be, but because you know the person who does know and you trust in him, you have confidence in him, then you can go through the day and tomorrow and every single day for the rest of your life experiencing peace that passes all understanding and joy that's unspeakable that you can't describe it. You can feast on that every single day because you know that the one who loves you tremendously has your back, has your front, has your sides, has you really in the palm of his hands. And nothing can happen to you except he allow it. And if he does, somehow or another, it's the best thing that ever can happen to you. Even if it comes to a point of you being separated from your body, you begin to understand and realize and know and believe the fact that to be absent from your body is to be present with the Lord, and find yourself in a conundrum as Paul was. He didn't know whether or not he ought to get up and leave up out of here or be here, stay here, and continue on teaching and preaching. He said he was torn between that because he saw and knew and understand what the afterlife was going to be a little bit about. He didn't see everything, but he saw enough for him to be able to go through all the difficulties and heartache that he was going through, that he was facing. He said, I don't know which to do. Then he came to the conclusion, well, look, it's better for you. And I'm grateful and thankful that that happened because he was able to go ahead and write some more, pen some more letters to the church that have been so encouraging, illuminating, and just so life-giving to so many of us. And I just give God thanks and praise for that. And Jesus continues on teaching about himself and talking about his relationship with his Father in the Gospel of John. In chapter 5, he says, look, I just want you to know that whosoever hear my word and believeth on him that sent me hath everlasting life and shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life. I don't want to face condemnation. I don't want to face judgment. I don't want to have my life condemned at all. I don't want to have to go through the worry of trying to figure out whether my good is going to outweigh my bad. I'm just so grateful and thankful that Jesus speaks to me and speaks to you, speaks to us in such a way that there's power in his words. And he says, look, if you hear my word, if you hear it, and then believe on him, and he's talking about his dad, talking about his Father that sent me. Listen, you, me, whoever that person might be, has everlasting life and shall not, I like that, shall not come into condemnation. I'm so grateful and thankful that I'm not going to face condemnation. Yeah, there might be some people down here that might condemn, but they don't have nothing to do with my life whatsoever. They don't have a hell to put me in or a heaven to put me in at all. They have no authority whatsoever. All judgment has been handed over to the Son. And Jesus himself says, look, Don, if you just hear my word and believe on my Father who sent me, Don, you have everlasting life. And Don, guess what? I said, what? He said, you'll never come into condemnation. I said, I like that. He said, not only that, Don, but you have passed from death unto life. And I said, yes, and I want to shout right now, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Has passed from death unto life, yes, into the life that he provides for you and for me. Zoe life, yes, abundant life, a life that's full of praise and full of joy, full of everything that money, filthy lucre cannot buy, cannot purchase whatsoever. That's what makes you wealthy. That's what makes you rich, because you have stuff that money can't buy. Isn't that an amazing thing that billionaires can have billions of dollars, millionaires can have millions of dollars, and still not be able to purchase what you have received freely from God himself? His peace, that a lot of people is looking for. Peace that passes all understanding. Can't understand this kind of peace, this level of peace. All you do know is that you got it, that you're living in it, that is ruling and reigning in your hearts. So it doesn't make any difference what may come your way. The peace of God is ruling and reigning in your hearts. You can't buy that. A millionaire can't purchase that. Billionaires don't have enough money for this. And then the joy of the Lord, which is your strength. It gives vitality to every cell in your body. Yes. The joy of the Lord, which is your strength, the joy that is unspeakable and full of glory. There's a glorious joy. There's a joy that's full of glory. There's a glorious joy. Have you ever heard about that before? Glorious joy? Yeah. Joy that's full of God's glory that he gifts to you and to me. He just hands it over to us because that's just part of his love package for you and for me. It's for you to have. It's for me to have. And that's why this is such an amazing day today, because I can experience this joy. You can experience this joy. You can experience this powerful inward dwelling of the Spirit of God in you in such a way that his joy is your joy. Jesus said, look, I give you joy, not as the world give you. I give it to you. I give it to you without measure. I give it to you till it runs over, spills over. Yes, this is this gift of God. Yes. And I tell you, what's the basis of this? That we have passed from death unto life. In fact, Jesus goes on. He says some other stuff, and I know it got them Jews upset, got those Pharisees just boiling mad. They were already hot. They were already ticked off. They already wanted to kill him. And he just went on talking more. The more he talked, the deeper he got in trouble with them. But I said, Lord, keep on talking. Keep on talking. He said, look, in verse 25, truly, truly, verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they that hear shall live. Yes. That's the power of his words, of what he says to you and to me. Spiritual death can be overcome with spiritual life. He can speak to a dead person, dead in the spirit. Their emotions are alive, their physical body's alive, but the spirit part of them is dead as a doornail, but he can speak life. And I tell you, he demonstrated that when he rose Lazarus from the dead, and many different persons that were stone cold dead. But guess what? They came up out of the grave because he said, look, if you hear my words, my voice, yes, even the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they that hear shall live. For as the Father has life in himself, so has he given to the Son to have life in himself. Listen, and has given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. Jesus knew who he was. He lived in accordance with who he was. He didn't allow what anybody else's opinion was about him have any impact at all on who he was. Yes. This is a mindset that you and I have to adopt. In fact, you and I have the mind of Christ, so this is the way you and I think when we are in the mind of Christ. When we allow Christ in us to have his way through us, you and I will think this way as well, that we will know who we are. Yes, and not be in any way circumvented by somebody else's measurement of us, somebody else's opinion about us. But rather we'd only be concerned about, what does God say about me? How does God feel about me? What has Christ said about me? He says, marvel not, verse 28, chapter 5 in John's Gospel. He says, marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice. I noticed the difference that he was saying the hour is coming, and now is. The time in which he was in said, look, this is the time in which the dead shall hear my voice, and they that hear my voice shall live again. He says, but I want you to understand that there's going to be a time. That time is coming. And it wasn't at that time then, and it's not at the time in which you and I are living in right now. But there'll come a time in which all that are in the graves, everybody, shall hear his voice and shall come forth. I like this, everybody. Doesn't make a difference who they are. He's talking about the resurrection of life. Listen to what he says, and shall come forth, and they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. Now, I wonder what is good, and I wonder what is damnable. Well, but I think he tells us that if we hear his word, if we believe in the one that sent him, and we have everlasting life, we're not going to come into this damnation, this judgment. But there'll be some people that will reject what Christ has said, will reject the Father that has sent him, and as a result of that, they die in their sins. And when they hear the voice of Christ and they come up out of the grave, when death no longer has dominion over them whatsoever, and they have to come forth, they're going to come to the resurrection of damnation. I'm so glad I don't have to worry about that. I'm not looking forward to that at all. Because I believe his word. I believe what he has said. As radical as it is. As out of the box as it is. So he says, marvel not at this. Don't marvel at this. Because there's going to be a time coming in which all that are in the graves, all that are dead, doesn't make any difference if they're ashes are ashes and dust is dust. It makes no difference if they were cremated, lost at sea. Doesn't make any difference if they were burnt up in some fire. Doesn't make any difference if they were exploded in the sky. Doesn't make any difference at all what has happened to those bodies at all. He has authority over all that. And wherever those ashes are, no matter where that body is, no matter what the particles are, no matter what's left of it, there's going to be this resurrection of life, this resurrection of damnation going to take place. That's what Jesus said. Now, again, he's either lying or he's telling the truth, and now you and I have got to figure out what does he mean by what he said. Yes. So, yeah, I'm excited about this because I've passed from death unto life. Yes, I have. I'm excited about this because this Zoe life, God is sharing that with me, sharing it with you, with whosoever will. He's no respecter of persons whatsoever. He goes back in verse 30, says, I can of my own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not my own will, but the will of the Father which has sent me. He said, I can of my own self do nothing. That's true about you, too. You don't have any innate power and ability to do anything. You can't keep yourself going for an extra day. You can't avoid the angel of death at all. You can't say to God, no, I know you want me to be up there. I know you want this to be my last day down here, but guess what? I've determined that I'm going to live a couple days longer. No, you don't have that ability to do that. I don't have that at all. And Jesus said, look, I can of my own self do nothing. He says, as I hear, I judge. And my judgment is just, because I seek not my own will, but the will of the Father which has sent me. Again, he's speaking with his Father again. He has this relationship with his Father. He's not off doing his own thing. He's not off fulfilling his own dream, his own desires, his own will, his own vision, his own purpose. He's not doing that. And neither can you or I. You and I don't have that ability, that power. We're not able to do our own thing. We're not the captain of our own destiny. We don't determine what our days are going to be. No. I can of my own self do nothing. That's true about me this morning. That's true about you this morning. It's true about every single one of us. Whether we believe it or not really has no determining factor at all. This is just absolutely true. Jesus said, I can of my own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge. I tell you, what a tremendous thing for you and for me to be able to hear the voice of Christ. He says, my sheep hear my voice. That's what he said. And my sheep follow me. In another voice they shall not follow. I'm so grateful and thankful that's true about every single one of his sheep. He says, my sheep hear my voice. And so Jesus said, look, I'm hearing the voice of my Father. I hear him. And I judge according to what I hear my Father say to me, because my purpose, my desire, my passion, my drive, my reason for being here is not to do my own thing, not to have my own way, not to do my own will, not to fulfill my own passion, not to take care of my own destiny. No, it's because I'm here to do the will of my Father who has sent me. For I bear witness of myself. My witness is true. Yeah, he's bearing witness of himself. And again, he said, look, my witness is true concerning me. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's why I love to listen to Christ, because he says, look, make no mistake about it. My witness is true. Even though I'm bearing witness of myself, my witness is true. And not only that, there is another that bears witness of me. And I know that witness, the witness which he witnessed of me, is true. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, Mechanicsville. Thinking about you this morning, give God thanks and praise for my neighborhood being Mechanicsville. What's the name of your place? Yes, just give God thanks and praise for your neighborhood, your community, your next door neighbor, the street that you live on, the place where you work at, the carpool you might be a member of. Just give God thanks and praise this day. Yes, it's all about Jesus Christ himself. Yes, good morning to you. We thank God for the Tolson family. Steve Harrod as well.
Oh, Jesus, oh, sweet Jesus, every day, your name is the same. When my troubles surround me, and I didn't have to despair, Lord, you told me that you'll be right there. Seems like all my problems had just begun, but I didn't have to worry no more. They already won. Oh, Jesus, oh, Jesus, how I love calling your name. Oh, Jesus, oh, sweet Jesus, every day, your name is the same. I remember the times when I felt so all alone, when I needed you, Jesus. All I had to do was call. Sometimes it was in the morning, sometimes late at night. But when I got up off my knees, Jesus, everything was all right. Oh, Jesus, oh, sweet Jesus, how I love calling your name. Oh, Jesus, oh, sweet Jesus, every day, your name is the same. I remember the times when I felt so all alone, when I needed you, Jesus. All I had to do was call. Sometimes it was in the morning, sometimes late at night. But when I got up off my knees, Jesus, everything was all right. Oh, Jesus, oh, sweet Jesus, how I love calling your name. Oh, Jesus.
Yes, good morning, Bolivia. Good morning, Bosnia. Good morning, Mexico. Arabia, good morning. Philippines, good morning. Thank God for those listening to us in Thailand. Good morning to you. Dominican Republic, good morning to you as well. Barbados, good morning to you. Those that listen to us in the Bahamas, good morning to you.